The monkeypox.
Who?
Come on, baby!
Oh, fuck. I can't believe you've done this.
Can't do it. I can't take this shit before, man. Pay attention! Wake up!
Chocolate chip. Fuck you, Dave. Yeah.
Live from Command Center Alpha 1, it's the Our Big Dumb Mouth podcast. Now, here's your hosts, Midnight Mike, Juicy Joe, a.k.a. Flametown, and Gretchen.
That's what I want! I want that! I want that! I ain't got no business with it, but I want it!
Hey everyone, welcome back to another fun-filled podcast adventure. Yes! My name's Midnight Mike, and Cretchen's over there on the screen. He's all riled up.
I am not riled up. I am calm, cool, and collected.
Okay, good. To me, you appear to be riled up, but I misjudge of character all the time. Joe is over there too. He's all riled up.
Am I?
I could be off on this one again.
I'm all riled up.
I can't tell. Sometimes I can't tell.
I'm riled down. I've riled down now.
Okay.
Riled down.
Riled down. You got to cool off with a nice golden shower.
The golden shower.
Actually, that might warm you up a little bit. Yeah, the golden showers is always nice and warm after a nice hard day. You just relax a little bit in a bathtub. Take a load off, listen to OBDM, and let us give you the news that you need to hear in the order in which it needs to happen. It's Wednesday. We're all here, and I don't have any immediate proclamations or announcements per se. I will say that I did get a few emails concerning that missing person story I did last podcast of the 4 gentlemen who went missing in Oklahoma. We'll do a quick follow-up on that because there have been developments in that story.
Did I miss it?
I guess. But there were follow-ups, and it's a lot more, I guess, it's not paranormal in explanation, as you guys might believe. But it is Wednesday, so we got to do Alex Jones clips of the week to kick things off in the right way possible, the rightest way possible. I wonder if Alex Jones talks about The Walking Dead or the last season of The Walking Dead, if we can get Alex Jones to comment on The Walking Dead at all. Because I don't have any Alex Jones Walking Dead related clips. I don't even think I have any Alex Jones Lord of the Rings related clips or Star Wars stuff. I do have Alex Jones like impersonating Star Wars characters, but not talking about pop culture in that way. Maybe we can find some. We'll find out. Let's see. We got stuff from, let's see here. I think this is from last Thursday. Here we go. Let's check this out.
Alex Jones, $965 million. No person dead. O.J. Simpson, 2 dead people, $34 million. He says he won't pay it. You son of a bitch. He'll keep it. Here, I can find the article. I got to find it. It's one of those neurotic things now. I got to find it. So let me find it. I'll pull up on my phone right here. I don't think Sandy Hook happened. Sandy Hook families get $1.5 million from Adam Lanza. Alex Jones, $965 million for questioning the whole thing and why the CIA and FBI did visit Adam Lanza twice in the year before the shooting. That's on record, by the way. Stop right there. Your Skype has been great, but it broke up the last 10 seconds. The largest fine paid by the banking executives responsible for the trillions lost in the 2008 financial crisis was $67.5 million. Alex Jones must pay $965 million. You have a right to deny the Holocaust.
Yeah, that is one thing that we forgot to mention is the fine levied against Alex Jones in the Sandy Hook trial. Joe and I were doing a show.
$8.2 trillion.
It was quite a bit, Gretchen. You're not that far off. We failed to mention
$9,482,000.
$9,240,000.
Yeah.
$8,737,540,000.
Yeah, we didn't mention it. We were on air when that news broke, and I think we just forgot to mention it on the Saturday show. But yeah, he does owe a lot of money that will be challenged in court through appeals. It's just an incredibly large sum of money considering the actual, I guess, offense. It just seems in my opinion, it seems to be a little bit over.
Just a wee bit.
Yeah.
He won't pay that. But.
I don't know all the dynamics of the trial. You'd imagine I would, but I do not. But just seems...
What he should have done when they announced that, by the way, he should have just wrote a check right there and handed it to him.
Yeah.
Look, I need money.
Because it's going to bounce anyway, so...
Yeah, it will, no matter what. Like, I think anything over, my opinion, I don't know a lot about his finances, anything over $30 million, that check's going to bounce.
Give me money, I kill you!
But we have another, just a short montage here from last Friday. Here we go.
I'm going to blow everybody. I'm looking at children being raped. Too much cussing on this. I guess we didn't bleep it, so we got to turn it off.
Wow, holy crap. Was he drunk there? He sounded a little drunk there.
He's drunk or tired or what?
Yeah. The guy's got to be worn down at this point. He does like 75 hours of broadcasting every week. He doesn't stop. He's interviewing people. He is doing podcasts now. I know on his one of his more recent podcast exclusive kind of things, he interviewed Adam Curry of No Agenda. I thought it was a very good discussion. Alex, during that talk, kind of hanging back, letting the guest do a majority of the talking. I think the follow-up interview after that, he did 2 hours with David Icke, which I haven't listened to yet. So I like listening to Adam Curry and his opinions on tech and where things may be going. I think he has a fairly measured opinion. That's nice.
It's also good to know he has trouble with Skype, too.
Yeah. A lot of Skype issues. We're not alone on that one. And then we have this one from the 17th. Here we go.
Chicago or L.A. or New York or Miami or Houston or Dallas or Detroit or San Antonio or Oakland or Seattle or Portland. Neil deGrasse Tyson is just so full of crap. There's your headlines.
I like lists.
Did he say Neil deGrasse Tyson?
I think he did Neil deGrasse Tyson. I think so. Neil deGrasse Tyson? Let me take a closer look at this. I need to know what he said.
Neil deGrasse Tyson is just so full of crap.
Disgrace Neil
deGrasse Tyson is just...
What does he say right? It's so quick.
Neil deGrasse Tyson is just so full of crap.
Neil deGrasse.
I'll have to amplify it, slow it down, and enhance at a later date.
Yeah, can you rotate and enhance?
Rotate, zoom, enhance, normalize, compress, limit, expand. I'll do all those things. And we got 18th right here.
He's a jackass. Kiss their ass and tell them they're special. Poop on Pelosi's walls. Oh, and drink beer. They're free reign for rape. We just put our tail between our legs and pee all over each other. Well, you know, whatever. It's no big deal. It's Muslims. We're making a lot of money off cutting little boys' penises off.
Yeah, they do.
Some gems in there. Some real winners.
What is it? Just tuck our tails between our legs and pee on each other?
Yes. That's a difficult move. Let's see here.
That's advanced Pilates.
Let's see here. What's this?
We call that warm
Pelosi's
yoga.
walls. Oh, and drink your beer.
I was going to say, they call that warm yoga.
We just put our tail between our legs and pee all over each other.
There we go. Okay, that's one.
You need to pair that one up with the golden shower.
Yeah, exactly. The golden showers, they always warm. Here we go.
We just put our tail between our legs and pee all over each other.
The golden shower.
There you go. And the last one from the 19th. Here we go.
I got tears in my eyes, and I literally live on your Twitter. Oh, I'm rolling over now. You said I'm guilty. I'm going away. It really is a sick joke. Well, of course we made something that kills 80% of humans. What's the big deal? This guy is as close to Satan as I can imagine. We should kill all humans, not just 90%.
There we go. There's your Alex Jones clips of the week. Got some real gems out of that one and a nice little sampling of what was going on in the news. If you know what to listen for, that's all your news right there. That's all you need. But we will probably expand on some of that stuff. Oh, boy. Okay. I got a follow-up from the previous show, which I have to play because it's as a journalist, Joe, I think we have to play this clip about the missing Oklahoma men. This is just a short news piece. It's just about a minute and 20 seconds. Here we go.
It's a very violent event. So I can't say that I've never worked anything like it, but it's right up there at the top.
4 men dismembered and now positively identified as Mark Chastain, Billy Chastain, Mike Sparks, and Alex Stevens, spotted Friday evening by a passerby in the river by the Sharp Road Bridge.
It's very, very shocking. It's very sad.
Police Chief Joe Prentice during Monday's news conference.
We believe the men planned to commit some type of criminal act when they left the residence on West 6th Street. That belief is based on information supplied by a witness who reports they were invited to go with the men to, quote-unquote, hit a lick big enough for all of them.
Chief Prentice says Joe Kennedy, the owner of 2 nearby salvage yards, is considered a person of interest since evidence of a violent event was discovered on an adjoining property.
Mr. Kennedy was reported missing Saturday night and may be suicidal.
I looked up Kennedy and called him.
I'm sorry, but the person you called has a voicemail box that has not been set up yet.
Just over 2 hours after Monday's news conference, Chief Prentice says they found Kennedy's car abandoned behind a business in Morris, Oklahoma.
So there it is. These 4 gentlemen apparently were going to rob somebody, steal something. They trespass on a scrapyard. They were killed and then dismembered and then thrown into the river. So pretty gruesome. But apparently, now we got a few emails. I'm sorry I didn't forward it to either one of you, but
yeah, what the hell?
Sorry,
you're hoarding emails.
I've been very busy, but.
By the way, I called the drug connection when we first covered the story.
Yeah, I did mention like the trespassing angle. We kind of covered the angles, but apparently
it's trespassing. I think they went to meet someone for a drug deal. They tried to rip him off because you don't get dismembered by a guy who runs a local scrapyard. You get dismembered by the Mexican cartels who are running that shit.
Well, they're looking at the person who owned the scrapyard. And one person said one person emailed in and said this didn't really come as a surprise to them, and then another person said that they may have found the scrapyard owner down in Florida. So conflicting reports, but
turns out it was Stephen Paddock the whole time.
That would make actually a lot of sense, but no confirmation on that. But just a fascinating little tidbit of crime. Nothing paranormal so far as we can tell. All right. Before I launch into my segment, I will say I will talk about the probability of you buying a haunted house. That article I mentioned on the previous show, I'll do it on Saturday. There's not a lot to it.
7.
It's actually it's busted down by state and percentage. And just as a teaser, if you buy a house in Ohio, it looks like you're at like a 20 to 30% chance of buying a haunted house in Ohio.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
So remind me, I have a haunted house story. It's from Texas, but it's a haunted house story. Remind me on Saturday. We'll cover that too.
We'll do it. We'll do haunted house stories on Saturday.
All right.
It is October, trying to cover a little bit more paranormal stuff. And so I think that's perfect for Saturday. But for right now, today, I'm covering something a little bit stranger than a haunted house. Yes, I'm covering a haunted doll. All right, a haunted doll. I have talked about this doll before. On an old Night Talk episode. This is the story of Robert the Doll. Now, you ever hear of this doll, guys? You ever hear of Robert the Doll? It's a pretty famous doll.
Everybody had a Robert the Doll when we were kids, didn't they?
I think that was My Buddy. You had a My Buddy doll. My Buddy and Me.
I never had that. My neighbor did. I was very jealous of him.
Well, Robert the Doll could be the world's most terrifying and haunted doll on the planet. There's a lot of stories around this thing. a lot of misfortunes surrounding Robert the doll. He came to prominence, I guess, came into existence in the early 1900s, came to prominence probably in the 70s and then up to the 90s, where things started really happening around people who encountered this doll. Now, there was a show on Discovery Plus. I love Discovery Plus because they got a great number of paranormal shows and UFO topics over there. But here's the intro to Robert the doll. Here we go.
He's believed to be possessed by some kind of malevolent spirit. With Robert the doll, people experience things. One lady talked about her husband losing his toe in a lawnmower accident. We've had some people who have blamed deaths on Robert the doll. But his real story started right here in the house that I'm sitting in over a century ago.
The story of Robert the doll begins in 1905 at Robert Eugene Otto's 5th birthday party with Gene's sister Mizpah and his nanny and her daughter.
Happy birthday, Robert.
Thank you. Yes, happy birthday, Robert. Open the big one next.
Oh, Caroline has good eyes. Here you go.
Did I make it in time?
Oh, he's just about to open his big gift.
Perfect.
His parents had no idea what they were getting themselves into, like this interesting looking doll. It was a gift. We never know what gift we're going to give our children that's going to change the course of their lives. There are forces at work that are beyond us as parents.
Now, the little boy who received this doll, his name was Robert. And when he received the doll, he decided to name the doll after himself and then give himself a new name of Gene, which is kind of creepy in and of itself. This kind of perturbed the family because it wasn't like a super young kid. I think the original Robert was right around 5 to 6 years old. Oh. And he said, henceforth, I am called Gene. This doll you gave me is Robert. And this kind of put the family off a little bit. It also,
after he said this, they immediately then took him to a doctor at Vanderbilt who cut his wang off, right?
They honestly, in that day and age, it wasn't lobotomy. Lobotomy is kind of like the standard practice for any kind of mental dysfunction.
A wangectomy?
Yeah. It is also rumored that the nanny wasn't a good nanny. It was a bad nanny and may have placed a curse or some sort of bad omen on this doll. And a lot of weird things started happening. But this next clip speaks to the naming of the doll and how kind of weird this is.
Folklorists and legends will tell you, hey, if you give someone your name, you give someone your clothes, you're giving someone your identity, particularly an effigy, how is that not going to become possessed or contain some sort of spiritual essence?
It's hard to say what the parents would have thought when their child named the doll after himself. But what we do know is that they'd hear different voices coming from the room. And they'd go in to look and see, oh, who does Gene have over? Who is he playing with? And they'd look in and find it was only Gene and Robert the doll.
So a lot of creepy stuff that happened with this doll and Gene while Gene was growing up in the early 1900s. Gene, he grew up. He moved to France to become an artist. That's where he met his wife. Gene had this idea that he wanted to become the best and brightest artist out there. He studied with some really prominent people in France. So he had all the schooling behind him, but he couldn't make it happen for himself. So when he went overseas to go to school, he put Robert up in the attic, probably in a box, and just kind of forgot about his childhood doll while he was growing up and living his life. Met his wife over in France. Gene and his wife moved to New York, where his wife had a fairly prominent and successful music career. Well, Gene's parents were ailing, and they wound up dying, and they left his boyhood home to Gene and his new wife. So they moved down there to Florida in the Keys to start a new life there at his childhood home. Well, lo and behold, as Gene was going through his childhood home, he found Robert again, his doll. And he started hanging out with his doll upstairs, talking to him like nothing had ever happened. This kind of creeped out his wife. His wife was creeped out that he had this friendship with this kind of strange looking doll. It's like a kind of like a big doll. It's almost kind of like 3 feet tall, kind of beady eyes. In fact, I won't say strange because I don't want to curse on me. It's a handsome doll that some people might find to be peculiar, but I don't. I think it's a handsome doll. So Gene was hanging out with this thing, and strange things started to happen around the house again. Gene's wife would hear laughter running around upstairs when there was no one up there, and they didn't own any pets. Just creepy things started going on around the house. Well, it got to be too much. She started cursing at the doll, and she swears that at one point in time she was alone and she was thrown into a closet by this doll by some unseen force and locked in there overnight. This kind of freaked her out. She didn't want anything to do with this thing, and they basically had it out where this doll was a very big point of contention in the relationship, the marriage between Gene and his wife. Well, Gene and his health started failing, not doing so well, even though he was, by all accounts, becoming a much more successful artist once he moved home, almost like his luck turned around, where he became a successful artist and his wife's music career was fading. It was a reversal of fortunes once the doll came back into his life. Well, he passed on. The wife wound up selling the house under the condition that anybody who buys the house must keep the doll in there. Like if you buy the house, you get the doll. And so the next family moves in. That next family has small children. Well, they start playing with Robert the doll, and more nonsense starts happening, knocking and doors slamming and various kind of poltergeist activity that you would expect. And it just kind of persists over the years. And typically, if you have a negative encounter with this doll, like if you start to berate it or not treat it with any sort of respect, bad things, bad luck starts to happen to you, whether it is financial or jobs or it's your health. Bad things start to happen when you start to treat this doll very poorly. So the doll winds up in a Key West museum, and right around in the 90s. They didn't really know what to do with it, but as soon as the doll showed up, they started to have problems at the museum.
There were plumbing troubles at the fort after Robert had arrived. So they called in a specialist who comes in. The plumber comes in, starts working on the pipes.
Shitting themselves.
They had big plumbing problems as soon as the doll arrived there, and they called in the plumber to fix the pipes, to clean out those pipes.
Mike, would you say that the staff there was scared shitless?
They probably were. They couldn't do anything because they had horrible toilet problems. They couldn't do anything. Maybe it was Robert to blame there. We don't know. You know, there's a lot of things going on over there.
People are flushing toilets 10 times, 15 times.
Robert the toilet, or Robert the doll
toilet.
was flushing that toilet 10 times, 15 times.
Gets up at night and wanders the museum flushing toilets.
Yeah. But they called in a plumber, and apparently the plumber there was tormented by the sounds of children laughing, and this doll was tormenting him. And so they really didn't know what to do with this doll, but it was a part of Key West folklore, and so they set up the doll, and they gave ghost tours around this doll. And there are rules when you visit this doll. Here are the rules. Here we go.
Today, Robert lives under protective case of glass inside the Fort East Martello Museum.
Robert has 4 very simple rules to follow when you meet him. Number 1, you have to say hello and introduce yourself. Number 2, you have to be courteous. You have to be polite. Be kind when you talk to Robert. 3, when you leave, you have to say goodbye to Robert. You want to close that connection there. And number 4, probably the most important, is if you take his picture, make sure you ask permission.
I have all the same rules for myself. I think those are solid rules for anyone to live by, and I don't see anything wrong with those rules. Now, people they give tours there. They will give people the rules up front, and it is a very popular attraction for ghost hunters or people that are just kind of passively interested in this kind of stuff. It is pretty popular. And so there is one jerk that showed up there.
Jerk. Piece of shit.
That did not have a very positive interaction after meeting Robert. This is his story. So he went there with his wife, and like a jerk, he started tapping on the glass, started taking pictures without permission, not showing the proper respect you need to give to Robert the doll. And he didn't have a very positive experience afterwards.
So without a doubt, everything that I did while I was here was 100% wrong, in my opinion. After we left the museum, within 20 minutes, bad luck started happening. First, it was just minor car stuff, and then it turned into families being in accidents, my dog dying, my mom getting sick, my mom dying, me losing a job, me losing a huge contract, me getting sick. I mean, it just went on and on and on. More pets dying, me getting sicker to the point where me almost dying one day.
I really am sick.
Well, what do I have to lose? I'm going to write him a letter. And that's what I did. And after that, like really within days, it seemed, everything changed. I guarantee people are going to look at me and think, look at this idiot. But yes, this idiot was basically like you idiots.
Look at this
that don't
motherfucker.
believe. Like I truly believe this right now. I was a jerk. I did everything wrong. I did everything that the legend says I shouldn't do. I did, and I ended up paying the price for it.
Look at this shit. Robert receives thousands of letters, some from like former people who have interacted with Robert and had a bad experience. So they write to Robert to release the curse and have a reversal of fortunes. I guess according to this guy, he had success with his letter writing campaign. So good on him.
Does he get any sexy letters? Any like
I think that would be
Dear John love letters.
That would be earmarked as possibly a negative interaction. Like you probably, I'm not saying do this, and I don't condone this. You could write hate mail to Robert, and you'd probably get cursed.
Hate. I said love letters.
I know love letters, but you're talking about sexy, like you're hitting on him, like erotica. That's what I'm like. If it's love letters, like you're professing your love and admiration for him, I think that would be good. If you're trying
couldn't it be erotica? What if you got creepy child doll erotica? Why not? It's probably out there.
I think that might be a little bit too forward for Robert. I think you if he's asking for the respect to, like, please ask for permission to take my picture and all that kind of stuff, you might have to go through a longer paranormal courting process.
Yes, yeah, you have to go down there a couple times and maybe share a few meals with Robert, maybe watch a movie or two.
Yes, something like
Find
that.
out who killed Bobby
in love
Lupo.
with you. I'm going to go out and buy a house. I'm going to get you an engagement ring, and hopefully you'll think about moving to Minnesota.
Does Robert want to move to Minnesota with Hulk Hogan?
I mean, Key West is pretty prime real estate. I don't think
actually Hulk Hogan lives in Florida.
Yeah.
I want you to come up north next week.
I don't think Robert's willing to move up north. There are people that have tried to have him in the house, and it's nothing but bad experiences. The doll does appear to be cursed, possessed, and it's nothing but bad experiences. Now, the final clip I have is they brought in a psychic. They brought in a psychic to give an overall reading, to get an impression of what may be going on with this doll. Is it possessed? Is it Is there something else going on here? And this is the psychic's impression.
Hi, Robert. My name is Cindy, and I'm here to talk to you about why you're here and to learn about the story of Robert. The energy is palpable. I mean, you could feel the shift the second I walked through the threshold. I'm already hearing there really are many entities attached to Robert the doll.
What is that?
So fascinating because he's not just one spirit, he's many spirits. It's almost as if the doll itself is a portal. Whatever spell, for lack of a better word, was done was to create an opening inside the doll to attract in spirits.
Yeah, that's great, isn't it?
In this particular case, I think it's really hard to close the portal that surrounds Robert the doll because we don't truly understand how this portal was created.
Do you feel like all of these spirits were always with Robert, or do you think they've been collected along the way?
They've definitely been collected along the way.
No.
So it's like wherever Robert goes, more spirits attached to Robert, and they just accumulate and accumulate. And I know that people have seen Robert move, but again, it's also the spirits that are around Robert that are able to manipulate the doll itself.
Yeah.
Wherever this doll is, there are lots of spirits coming in, lots of them, and especially children.
Wow.
I keep seeing handprints on the glass, little children's handprints. The little girl, I feel, really is a strong presence around this doll, and her story hasn't been told yet.
Yeah. Why do you think the spirits around Robert are angry or sad or?
They have unfinished business. Their story hasn't been told. I mean, this doll is a portal to attract in a lot of spirits, and in particular, spirits with unfinished business that are sad, that are angry, because that creates a darker presence.
I broke her
Not
glass.
all of them are bad. Some of them are mischievous, but there's in particular one who is negative. I definitely feel like there is an aggressive male spirit that's very attached to this doll that I feel is dark.
redundant.
Who is the one that shoves people? Who scares people? There's definitely a very angry, aggressive, and violent spirit attached to Robert the doll, and I do believe that he is the cause of a lot of the negative activity that people have experienced.
Well, there you go. It is a portal. Robert the doll is a portal where it's a conduit where other spirits can come in and interact with our reality in some way. And it's not that dissimilar from like Skinwalker Ranch, where people go there. They'll have like some sort of paranormal activity, some kind of interaction. They go home, and that activity continues to persist over a certain period of time. It's like it's called the hitchhiker effect. And apparently, Robert the doll does possess that ability. If you believe that kind of thing, Joe, I know you don't believe in haunted houses or dolls, do you?
I want to, though. It's so bad. I mean, she talks like she's an expert. Anybody who says, when I came to the threshold, like what? When you finally got there? Like, it's like, I had a boss's wife, you said, like we were at a dinner and she says, oh, were you imbibing? And my partner at the time was like, imbibing. And I was like, it's a pretentious word for drinking. And my boss looked at me.
He didn't like that, did he? Being a little dismissive.
No, he didn't like me saying that, but it's like, it wasn't funny. It didn't come out funny. And it sounded like you're fake. And she was fake. And this girl's fake. And that's just how I'm going to, I don't know.
Maybe this person has just been trying to use her word of the day calendar.
That's true.
Threshold, you think is the word of the day?
Yeah, she was going on all day looking for the term threshold.
Well, I watched this. I think she used the term threshold is when she walked through the threshold of the room. Like there's this particular room.
Doesn't matter. When I got into the room.
Well, she used the word threshold to make it sound a little bit
so
more.
she can sound smart.
More grandiose.
And then she says,
trying to punch it up a little bit.
Entity. She says entity. Like she was, and like the way she was saying words, it was like, I don't know. And then who's verifying her? Where are the fact checkers on this? Not that they care. This is completely irrelevant.
This is what comes to the paranormal realm with psychic mediums. It's a lot about intuition and what you feel. And this is her opinion on what Robert the Doll is. Now, I believe in haunted dolls. I believe in haunted houses. And if I were to go down there, I would pay my respects to Robert the Doll because I would not want to be cursed. I don't like curses. I think you know this. And
you used to be very pro-curse.
Well,
what about like a little curse, just a tiny curse?
No, I think too much is enough. Like all that even just a little bit, it'd be enough to upset my routine. And I don't want my routine upset. I certainly don't want my pets or animals to die. And when that one jerk went there, they said after he went to visit the doll, my dog died, my cat, my pets died, even my mother died. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Didn't he also have car trouble?
But he did. He did have car trouble. That was top of the list.
And he sang a country song about it shortly after.
He did mention the most important thing that
and that little boy grew up to be Garth Brooks.
He did mention his mom dying was pretty far down on the list. You know, it was
that didn't come up top. That was like number 7.
By the way, I just remembered.
After I lost my phone in the threshold.
My car died and my pets and my mom died too.
Should have mentioned.
Maybe he could see from the producer standing behind the camera that he wasn't getting the reaction. He goes,
punch it up.
My mom died.
Punch it up.
Producer's waving. I was like, more, do more. My mom died, and you died too. Like, what the hell are you talking about?
But creepy story. And anybody can visit that. And Key West, you can take a look at Robert the Doll, and I'll put in a link. You can buy your own Robert the Doll.
Okay, so this was. Are they paying you for this?
No. I mean, someone I think over in Europe has decided to make a replica of Robert the Doll. You can buy.
Can you get on Amazon?
You can go to robertthedoll.org to buy.
If you want to terrify your
somebody
children.
had robertthedoll.com.
I guess so. That was a hot URL back in the day.
.net.
It was going to be the next business.com.
Website.
Yeah. I think at robertthedoll.com, I think they actually sell cat food there right now. So it's like an aggregator.
Store. Yeah, what is it, Robert the Doll?
robertthedoll.com. Let's go there.
robertthedoll.com goes to it's just a placeholder. Rip off.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How much can we get it for? Yeah, there's nothing there. But if I go to
no words there.
robertthedoll.org, there's something there. What's that .net? Who got .net? There's nothing at .net. So there's a .org and not a .net.
Yeah, .net you can get right away.
Yeah, so .org, yeah, you can go there. You can buy a boy and his doll, new homes. You can go to the store. And so I don't know if Robert, the actual Robert the Doll, would like impersonators out there. Like if you buy one of an impersonator, I don't know. I think that's bad mojo.
There's a Robert the Doll snow globe, so now you've got a miniature Robert the Doll trapped in something else. I think that should trouble.
This is like Transformers and GoBots.
Yes, it is.
Like Lego and whatever that knockoff was there. I can't remember the name of that one.
Like the erector set kind of thing?
No, the something blocks. Excitement blocks.
Mega blocks.
Mega block. There it is.
Yeah. Works with Lego.
Well,
asterisk, not endorsed by Lego.
There's your creepy story for Halloween kind of stuff. No.
Your heart needs to get harder into it. Put it hard in the paint.
Mike, I'm going to put this into a carrot shop. They sell a Robert the Doll voodoo doll. Now you're just asking for trouble.
Damn, you're doubling down on that one.
As long as you say hello and goodbye, you go ahead and kick that shit around the room.
Yeah, if you ask permission, I guess you could. So on the screen, how much is this thing? A Robert the Doll voodoo doll. Wow, okay.
I think we should buy one at random, or buy one and send it to a listener at random and not tell them.
Yeah.
This is what I want. This is what I need.
I think the listeners would want it. We could do a contest around it.
It's $65.
That's not bad.
That's doable. Wait. Up at the top it says $15. Why does it say $65 at the bottom? Not available. Not available for international shipping. The postage has skyrocketed. This will calculate at the post office's rate $65. So this is, I think it's done in Europe. So maybe international shipping is $65. So we really want it. It's going to cost a little bit of money.
It's not a replica, that's for sure.
It's the real deal. All right. I don't want anything to do with this doll.
It's got that little big planet style though. This one, it's kind of cute.
Everyone send Mike Robert the doll paraphernalia.
I do not want it.
I want that. I ain't got no business with it, but I want it.
I don't want it.
Can we send it to AJ or to the judge?
That's what I want. I want that.
If AJ started sending Robert the dolls to various lawyers and judges, I think they would get him on occultism or some kind of like witch burning kind of thing. They probably
witchcraft.
They get him on
another
witchcraft.
$1 billion for witchcraft.
They'd probably break out the Mayflower Compact and use some kind of antiquated law to get him burned at the stake.
So if
they put him in the water.
If you're a witch, does he float? He's a duck. If you're a witch, you do witchcraft. If you're a warlock, which I believe is a male witch,
technically, I think so. Yes,
warlockery. What's the practice called?
Wizardry.
No,
you do wizardry.
Wizards are distinct from warlocks.
But as a warlock, you do wizardry.
I don't think that's true.
I think you do. All right. Well, maybe someone in the chat knows what a warlock does. We will move
Whatever
on.
the hell he wants.
Let's just check the classified, see what the job description is.
Okay, probably. I'm sure I'm sure there's a warlock for hire on Craigslist, and I want to hire that person. We'll find out what he does.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
I need someone to protect me from Robert.
Needs someone to open all your mail in case it's Robert the doll stuff.
Yeah.
And now it's time for the Joe Show.
Give us an email at ourbigdumbmouth@gmail.com. Check out obdmpod.com for all the social media and donation links.